The M3 is such an artery, isn't it?
So important.
And so this you'd welcome this sort of spending?
Of course. I mean, infrastructure spending is critical to join the M3. I mean, literally, in terms of our arteries for business and for residents and communities as well. It's what connects us all. And I think it's so important. And that's why having the commitment and the certainty that the money is going to be there, it isn't just jammed tomorrow, but the resources will be available and will do what people want them to do and what business wants it to do is so important.
Yeah, now Jeff didn't want to say, but this does feel like roads are now popular amongst the public, that it's a vote winner, otherwise they wouldn't be doing
But
this.
it's a balance. It's a balance between the major strategic issues, such as the junctions on the motorways, but also local roads. With all the house building that's being proposed, infrastructure is really important, and there isn't the money coming out of the developers, there isn't the money coming out of government or councils because of austerity, because of the cuts, to deal with the volume of house building we're going to see set against the infrastructure that is required. So our smaller roads, the roads on which people live, are just as important to many people as the main arterial roads, as the big ticket items.
Jeff, does that worry you? I mean, if there are more council cuts, which it looks like there will have to be, partly with paying for this infrastructure, and they can't repair smaller roads or even larger roads through the local authority budget?
That is obviously an important consideration, and I think we have to be honest with ourselves and look at the scale of the road network and decide what we can afford to maintain and look after that better than we have been doing. But I think it goes back to my main point that communications is vital. Yeah. And I've remembered the fourth one that was our strategic ask, which was the most important one, so I'd like to come back to it, which was the A3 around Guildford. Yes. And for the first time, we have the Department of Transport identifying that as a major problem that needs to be addressed. It's very difficult to do, and it will be challenging, along with some of the projects that were in your piece. But I think it's important that the negative effect of the congestion around Guildford has been recognised and now will be addressed.
The key question for you, I think, though, is we're going to have an election in May. Yeah. Will this plan survive into a new government? What confidence do you have?
Speechless. That's speechless.
You don't actually know. That's the point. Business doesn't have that certainty. And therefore, does it provide the confidence which business needs in order to make investment?
Well, if you choose a Conservative government, then you know this money is going to be spent there.
But we don't know. I mean, he's promising these things will happen. It's not a cheque that he can necessarily honour.
No, but what you've got to understand is that everything this government's done is about trying to drive the growth that this country so badly needs. It's trying to address this debt by driving the growth, by doing it in a really fundamentally healthy way, which is why you're seeing the biggest investment in the railways since Victorian times, the biggest investment in the roads since the 1970s. The previous government road building was lower than in Namibia, in Slovenia, in Cyprus. We just weren't building any roads, we weren't investing in the railways. And now this is so important.
It's not the case, you say?
It's not the case. You cancelled the entire programme in 2010. You came into government and you cancelled half of these programmes.
And, you know, nothing was done and businesses were suffering.
And the difference was that they were 4 or 5 year programmes. They were programmes designed over the long term to give the certainty to business. And the government comes in and the very first thing it does is cancel it. Now we're back again, here we are 4 years later with the same list of roads, money that we're not guaranteed to get, and it's the certainty that really matters. We want 4 or 5 years of commitment.
the Labour government will now give them that certainty by saying that they will embrace it.
And also, Paul, I mean, and you ought to pick this up. I mean, we're all saying here, it seems that roads now are a vote winner. The budget... we're all almost calling it a budget. There's so much in this autumn statement. Yeah. It does appear to be popular. The stamp duty as well.
But it's not just about what's a vote winner, Peter. It's about what's the right thing to do to get the economics of the country moving. That's the only way you're going to make people feel more money in their pockets, is if the country is growing, if the economy is growing, if welfare is sensible, if people have got the right skills, if we're doing all, you know, if house prices are manageable and we're not taxing people so much on stamp duty. You know, if we're doing all the things that give people more money in their pockets, it's only going to be good for the economy.
And one of the things that does need to be added to this equation is public transport. Where are we with the bus networks in our area? Where are we with rail? The overcrowded trains going into the middle of London, let alone coming to Southampton. All of that has to play an important part as well.
That rail is important in all areas. What about buses? Doesn't matter quite so much to business, but to the left.
But buses matter a lot to the left. Yes, I stress rail already, and of course that's important, and there is a Wessex rail strategy out for consultation at the moment, and we'll be trying to make sure that we get enhanced capacity on that. But I think there is a whole package of sustainable transport for each of the main urban areas within our patch, where you look at buses, you look at cycling, you look at walking, you look at having some joined up thinking about that, enabling people to move around by sustainable transport. I think it will be very important to reduce the congestion inside our towns in future.
We have examples where we've lost jobs because of it.
Okay, well, let's just move on to another area of the autumn statement. And thank you very much, Jeff, for coming in and talking to us.